What's up, everybody? Reacher Season 3 has come to an end, so it's time to dive into the finale. Episode 8 got off to a great start, which these final two episodes breaking the trend of tough starts for these Season 3 episodes, especially that middle batch, was huge. It was really starting to become a problem for me with this season because it made it so that the good stuff later in these episodes was just making up for the opening scenes more often than not. Regardless, the finale got off to a strong start, picking up Episode 7's cliffhanger between Reacher sniping to start it and then him running in with just a pistol and no flak jacket after that. It was the perfect start to this chaotic episode. It also had me worried, sweating bullets all 50 minutes worried about the fate of our dear Billy. But that worrying did kind of go out the window when we got to the Beck residence, as it was nothing but hype for the long awaited showdown between Paulie and Reacher. Olivier Richter's finally got his big episode, and it's a damn shame that Paulie isn't a bigger part of this story here, this Season 3 story, but this fight lived up to my expectations, and then some more. Watching these two freaks of nature essentially just slapbox was one of the most entertaining things that I've ever seen on Prime Video. I'm serious about that too. Watching them just trade haymakers would have been a great showdown for these two, but then Reacher goes through that garage door and the fight shoots to heights, or should I say depths, that I never expected. Also, and I haven't really mentioned this at all throughout the season yet, but the score was incredible here during Reacher vs. Paulie. Tony Morales did a damn good job in this episode, and I'm gonna have to go back through Season 3 to see if I was just missing great scores, or if maybe, they were good but maybe not standoutish. In fact, if there was an episode that you really liked the score on, drop it down in the comments below so that I know where to look. But with that being said, Reacher and Paulie weren't the only ones throwing hands today. Philly, who I was so worried about, got a cool fight too, and the old man's got good hands. I think I said it last week, but the back half of Season 3 truly turned this season around for the better. The DEA being a positive contributor to the story instead of, I wouldn't say a negative, like they weren't bad, but they were kind of just a nothing burger, and them turning into a big contributor with Duffy and Reacher being a great storyline and Billy stepping up big time after the death of the rookie agent. It was huge. Then we got round 2 of Reacher versus Paulie, and it was even better than round 1. Alan Ritchson got yet another opportunity to go back to his DC days with another Aquaman scene as they took the fight to the waters, and I assume they shot this in tanks on some set, but shout out to both of these giants for making this scene look so good. This was like a superhero fight in the world of Reacher, and speaking of that, I don't know if this is Richson's PR people being like, hey Amazon, this would be a cool boost, but it seems like Amazon Prime Video is campaigning for their very own Reacher, Alan Ritchson, to be Batman, and I fully support it after his days as Aquaman, and even he was Hawk, not Dove, right? He was Hawk in the Titan show. He's got a great DC history, and he would be a great Batman. But my nerdy ramblings aside, that wasn't even the end of the fight. Paulie didn't drown, and round 3 comes a knocking as they head to his gate post. That fight was crazy, and it's even better because we still got that dope physical fight between the two giants, but it was still Reacher winning the fight with his brain. I did like round 2 in the water more still, but this was a great fight overall. Then inside the Beck mansion, Quinn's plans are screwed, and so of course he just runs into Richard to use as a hostage. Now, that did lead to an incredible final scene for Anthony Michael Hall, so I say it sarcastically, but it led somewhere good, and it was also a great scene for Quinn. But, and I know I've said this like a million times already at this point in the season, they just failed to show me why Reacher is afraid of Quinn, especially after Reacher just pummeled Paulie. That was unfortunately backed up immediately after that as Russians come in and are better villains once again than Quinn ever was in this season. But Reacher halts them and Neely comes in and goes just a tad bit psycho to secure Reacher's revenge. also, and this is a weird little detail that I noticed, but I love the way that the one SUV, when the Russians are leaving, whips around in reverse, then becomes a tail car. It doesn't really matter at all to the show, but I just thought it was cool. Anyway, the season comes to an end with Reacher finishing the job, and he does it in maybe the most insane way possible. Just straight up splits Quinn's head in two with a shotgun, and then he says his goodbyes the next morning, which during that, we get the most Thad Castle line Reacher has ever said. Not as good as I got him, and Alan still got that in there. I can't wait. I mean, it's probably going to be bad. It's a reboot, but I can't wait for that show to be back. But overall, that was a great finale for a good season from Reacher Season 3. There were definitely some shaky episodes along the way. I'd say for me, more than in Season 1 and more than in Season 2, but these final two episodes were just incredible, and this finale was straight up balls to the wall for 50 minutes. Like, the credits at the end were probably longer than the amount of time without fighting in the episode. It was simply perfect. And so that's going to do it for my final review for Reacher Season 3. I'm so glad Billy made it out alive, and I hope that Reacher has that bite going forward in Season 4 and whatever we get beyond that. But drop your thoughts on the finale down in the comments below, smash that like button, and make sure you have a great day.